Welcome to tonight's meeting. Vanessa, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Davis. Here. Trustee DeVarty.
DeVarty here.
Trustee Fleming.
Here.
Trustee Hatcher.
Here.
Trustee McKnight Morton.
Here.
Trustee Milliken.
Here.
Trustee Peck.
Here. Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the agenda is approved. I will now entertain nominations to fill the office of chair to serve a 2-year term. The trustee elected will begin serving his or her term immediately. A member can nominate himself or herself, and a nomination need not be seconded or supported. Okay, do I have a nomination for a chair?
Christina Fleming.
Okay, Trustee Fleming has received nomination for the office of chair. Are there any other nominations? Okay, if there are no more nominations, can I have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Motion to close nominations is made by Trustee Milliken. Motion is seconded by Trustee Davis. It's moved and seconded to close the nominations on the office of the chair. All in favor, say
Aye.
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 All opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Nominations are now closed, and the board will vote. Okay, a roll call vote will be, right? No? I will, right? They do? As each trustee's name is called, please cast your vote for Trustee Fleming for the office of the chair.
Trustee Davis.
Yes.
Say the name Fleming.
Oh, Fleming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Trustee DeVarty.
Christina Fleming, yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Christina Fleming.
Fleming. Christina Fleming.
Trustee Milliken.
Trustee Milliken votes for Fleming.
Trustee Peck.
Fleming.
Congratulations, Trustee Fleming as new board chair.
Thank you.
Would you like to take?
Sure.
Thank you.
Bye, Angela.
Bye, Angela, you did a great job. Thank you so much as chair. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You're gonna move it to which is start here. You just read this.
Okay.
Section 150, and then I can answer any questions if you have anything.
So we're doing vice chair, and then are we doing the others? Yeah, and we do,
Yep, they're
okay, gotcha, okay, gotcha. Do I what?
This is your water, Angela. There, thank you.
Okay, moving along. I will entertain nominations to fill the office of vice chair to serve a 2-year term. The trustee elected will begin serving his or her term immediately. A member can nominate him or herself. A nomination need not be seconded or supported. Do I hear a nomination?
I'll nominate Angela Davis for vice chair.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. Trustee Davis has received a nomination for office of vice chair. And I'm hearing no other nominations. If there are none, can I have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Motion to close nominations is made. Let's see, it is moved and seconded to close nominations for the office of vice chair. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, the ayes have it. Nominations are closed and the board will vote. A roll call vote will be taken. As each trustee's name is called, please cast your vote for Trustee Davis when you're called for office of vice chair. Okay, go ahead.
Trustee Davis.
Angela Davis.
Trustee DeVarty,
DeVarty votes for Davis for vice chair.
Chair Fleming,
Davis.
Trustee Hatcher,
Davis.
Trustee McKnight Morton,
Davis.
Trustee Milliken,
Davis.
Trustee Peck.
Davis.
Thank you. So, Trustee Davis, you are now elected to the office of vice chair. Congratulations. Thank you. All right. Moving along to treasurer. The chair will entertain nominations to fill the office of treasurer to serve a 2-year term. The trustee elected will begin serving his or her term immediately. Do I hear any nominations for treasurer? Go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Dave DeVarty.
All right. Thank you. Any other nominations? Okay, so trustee DeVarty has received the nomination for office of the treasurer. Hearing no other nominations, can I have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second.
Support.
Okay, thank you. It is moved and seconded to close the nominations for office of treasurer. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay. The ayes have it. Nominations are now closed. A roll call vote will be taken. As each trustee's name is called, please cast your vote for trustee DeVarty for office of the treasurer. Go ahead.
Chair Fleming,
Treasurer, or I'm sorry, trustee DeVarty.
Vice Chair Davis,
DeVarty.
Trustee DeVarty,
I vote, first of all, I respectfully appreciate your support and trust, and will continue to serve as treasurer to the best of my ability. I cast my vote for myself, Dave DeVarty.
Trustee Hatcher,
Dave DeVarty.
Trustee McKnight Morton,
David DeVarty.
Trustee Milliken,
Trustee DeVarty.
Trustee Peck.
DeVarty.
Thank you. Moving on to the position of secretary. The chair will entertain nominations to fill the office of secretary to serve a 2-year term. The trustee elected will begin serving his or her term immediately. Do I hear any nominations for secretary? Go ahead, DeVarty.
I nominate Ruth Hatcher.
Do I hear any other nominations? Okay, hearing none. Can I have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, thank you. It is moved and seconded to close the nominations for the office of secretary. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed, no? Okay. The ayes have it. Nominations are now closed and the board will begin to vote. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Chair Fleming,
Hatcher.
Vice Chair Davis,
Hatcher.
Treasurer DeVarty,
Dave DeVarty votes for Ruth Hatcher for secretary.
Trustee Hatcher,
Trustee Hatcher votes for Trustee Hatcher for secretary.
Trustee McKnight Morton,
Ruth Hatcher.
Trustee Milliken,
Tight race, but I'm voting for Hatcher.
Hatcher.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Where is it? Okay, can I have a motion to close the board elections?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Thank you, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 The ayes have it. The board elections have now been concluded. Okay, now we're going over to the regular agenda. Do I hear a motion to recess the monthly meeting to go into closed session to discuss a written legal opinion by counsel, and that we reconvene in open session upon completion?
So moved.
Second?
Support.
Okay. Any discussion on this? No? Vanessa, please call the roll.
Chair Fleming,
Yes.
Vice Chair Davis,
Yes.
Treasurer DeVarty,
DeVarty, yes.
Secretary Hatcher,
Yes.
Trustee McKnight Morton,
Yes.
Trustee Milliken,
Yes.
Trustee Peck.
Yes.
Please head to room 150, trustees. Thank you. Do I hear a motion to reconvene the monthly meeting?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Or.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. So we're calling our regular monthly meeting to order. We will start at tab A, Schedule of Monthly Board Meetings. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees adopt and publish The calendar of regular meetings for 2025 and 2026 as submitted, with exceptions as indicated in italics. The fourth Tuesday of each month is generally established as the regular monthly meeting time at 6 p.m. in the seminar rooms of the ML building. Do I hear a motion? A second? Any discussion on the schedule of meetings? Not, hearing none?
Got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Is that May meeting, is that the fourth Tuesday? To the 20th? 13th? It's, I think it's the third Tuesday.
Because of commencement.
May 20th?
Move the meeting
Oh,
up, so I just moved
MCCA.
it up, yep.
Okay, so both 2025 and 2026, that's the third
So
Tuesday.
I moved, yep, it's moved up, there's a conference that, you know, just
Thank
so-
you.
so we don't have to vote again, and so some.
Okay.
Actually, the July one is the third, in 2026. Okay.
Okay, so the dates go around the conference.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
said, yeah. So we don't have to vote again.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Okay, hearing none. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Chair Fleming,
Yes.
Vice Chair Davis,
Yes.
Already, yes.
Secretary Hatcher,
Yes.
Trustee McKnight-Morton,
Yes.
Trustee Milliken,
Yes.
Trustee Pack.
Yes.
Thank you. Turning to tab B. Tab B is a schedule of on-campus activities that the board may be interested in attending, and so this is informational. President Belanca, did you want to add anything to this? It just
No.
is what it is? Okay, thanks.
Thank you for asking.
Yep, tab C now. Tab C is informational as well. So these are all of our bios. If anything is incorrect, please let Vanessa know. But this is what we generally put in our publications and things, right? Okay. All right, moving on to tab D. Tab D is also informational. Go over your personal information. If anything is not correct, let Vanessa know. Okay, tab E, board liaison lists. If you are interested in any of these assignments, let me and Vanessa know. And I think we already know most of the ones who are assigned, don't we, or who goes where, pretty much. But if you're interested in any of these, let us know.
I'd like to just encourage Bill Milliken to continue as the foundation liaison with the WCC Foundation. And I'd like to welcome our new trustee, Eileen, who's had children in the WTMC program, and ask her to volunteer for that position if she'd like to. Those are just two that I know are good fits. If the people that I'm suggesting would do that, I think it would be a great help to the board.
Bill is willing.
Good.
Thank you.
Happy to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to commit now, but just let Vanessa know before our next meeting, and we'll figure that all out. All right, tab F. Okay, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the minutes of the December 17th special monthly meeting as submitted. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Or.
Thank you. Any discussion of those minutes? Okay, hearing none. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Chair Fleming,
Yes.
Vice Chair Davis,
Yes.
Treasurer DeVarty,
DeVarty, yes.
Secretary Hatcher,
Yes.
Trustee McKnight-Morton,
Yes.
Trustee Milliken,
Yes.
Trustee Pack.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Was this for both meetings, the special and the regular?
Is that?
Look
Look at it as the
Yeah,
special
oh, okay.
and the
Okay.
regular, yes.
Just curious what I'm.
Yeah, special, the wording is special and monthly meetings,
Good,
so.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to citizen participation, the WCCEA. Ms. Fournier, are you here? Hi.
Before I begin, we want to welcome Eileen Peck, our newest trustee, and we look forward to getting to know you and working with you. We've just entered week 3 of the winter semester, and although the beginning of the semester can be challenging, this winter semester there have been some concerns that have made the beginning of the term a bit rougher than normal. One area of concern for the faculty, which has been a problem for some time, is the WCC Help Desk. The Help Desk is designed to help students troubleshoot technical problems and help faculty with learning management system questions and IT-related issues. For some time now, it's nearly impossible to get a hold of someone on campus who can help troubleshoot problems in real time. Instead, both students and faculty are only able to put in a ticket and wait for someone to get back to them for help. Earlier this semester, unfortunately, some were waiting a week or more for a response. This is not a functional help desk. In addition to the difficulty getting a person at the help desk that can actually help, it has also been noted that when students reached out to the help desk this semester for help with classes that are currently being run in Canvas, they were told that WCC is not a Canvas campus, and therefore they couldn't help these students. The students were turned away. With the transition to Canvas, there are going to be times where students and faculty need to work with the help desk to troubleshoot problems as they arise. We need to do better, especially during this time of transition, to help and not just create a ticket and sending us or them on their way until a qualified person can respond. Several faculty did reach out to Dr. Tucker and Dean Workili. I know I said that wrong. Weckerly, thank you. And are thankful for their prompt attention to the issue. It appears that staffing gaps are in part creating frustration, and our hope is that we will be hiring qualified individuals to help during this time of transition and beyond. The WCCEA is also looking forward to beginning negotiations with the college for the master contractual agreement that expires in August 2025. Our hope is to conclude these negotiations and reach an agreement by April. We are committed to beginning the process earlier to ensure proper time is given to all of the issues that the college and/or the faculty bring to the table. The WCCEA Chief Negotiator, Nikki Lee, will be working with the Labor Relations College staff to set up initial meetings to get the process started. We hope to have a kickoff meeting as early as February. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a couple people from the community. First, I have Brooke Regensburg. Please come forward. Hi.
Good evening to all of you. I appreciate the opportunity to address you regarding the college closure last week due to extreme weather conditions. While the closure was necessary for safety, it exposed several challenges in communication, safety, and equity. On Monday, January 20th, a WCC alert went out stating in-person classes canceled January 21st due to weather. Buildings and services will be open and available. Staff report to work as scheduled. The announcement stated staff report, but it didn't clarify exactly who staff referred to. This led to confusion because the language did not align with the language on the college's website, which outlines who is expected to report in the case of a campus closure. As a result, students were left under the impression that instructors would be available. This created frustration when they found there was no one on campus to speak with. Unclear messaging doesn't just inconvenience employees, it directly impacts the trust and experience of our students. To prevent this in the future, I propose a centralized process to ensure announcements are clear, consistent, and fully aligned with established policies. Messaging should explicitly outline expectations for all groups, students, staff, and faculty, leaving no room for misinterpretation. A good example of clear communication comes from the Ann Arbor School District, which has a matrix in place for temperature guidelines. This matrix streamlines the process for determining when school will be closed and makes the decision easier to communicate. Also, EMU has an extreme weather policy that has evolved since its creation in 1978. It has been revised 4 times, with the most recent revision just 5 years ago. Another challenge on the day of the extreme outside weather was the extreme indoor temperatures. In the LA building, one room reached 85 degrees, forcing staff to prop doors open and use fans. Propping doors open is a safety violation. In GM 300, I received a call from a staff member regarding their indoor temperature. When I went over there, the thermostat said 45 degrees. In this instance, I propped open the door in the room to try and bring in heat from the hallway. Again, a safety violation. Both rooms were reported to facilities, but no alternative solutions were offered, and the temperatures remained like that for the remainder of the day. With temperatures ranging from 45 to 85 degrees, real-time decisions could have been made to allow workers affected by those conditions to go home without loss of pay or using PTO. According to OSHA standards, indoor temperatures should ideally be maintained between 68 and 76 degrees. For reference, this room is currently 71 degrees. Adding to the problem, the college switched its facilities work order software on the same Tuesday without issuing a formal announcement about its launch. Many employees attempting to report unsafe indoor temperatures encountered errors and were unable to log their concerns. Yesterday, a week after it went live, an email was finally sent acknowledging the new software. It also made mention of technical issues that may occur, the same ones that many encountered during the closure days. While this acknowledgement is appreciated, it underscores the importance of proactive communication and ensuring all systems function as intended, especially during emergencies. I urge the administration to create specific and inclusive language in future announcements to ensure that no member of the WCC community is left confused or placed in unnecessary harm due to weather or other foreseen events. Clear communication, equitable treatment, and proper preparation are essential to our shared success. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have another public speaker, Jeremy Haley. Come forward. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me. I'd like to welcome the new trustee to the board. And I'd like to remind you and all of you again that you all are here for, of, and by the people. And what I'd like to start off with a little diversity of thought on, you're doing the electric cars and the semiconductor thing for a reason. Because society, culturally, you're hearing that's what you want to do. And last year I heard that there was a decline in the criminal justice program and stuff like that. I'm just here to ask you, can that go in the other direction? If something was out there pushing back on there as a political ideology, something out in society pushing back on the criminal justice program. And I'm going to have to say it is the Black Lives Matter movement. And while you guys were out, I got on, the AI here they have on the phone, and I asked it this simple question. Has the Black Lives Matter movement affected police recruitment? What do you think it said? Yes, the Black Lives Matter movement and the murder of George Floyd have contributed to the challenges in recruiting police officers. And I actually broke it down into 4 categories. Protests and calls for reform, increased police turnover, reluctance to join policing, and other factors. That's me, that's the AI. I'm just saying what it's saying is the BL movement has created a hostile work environment for police and people who would want to become policing, go into policing, because it created a hostile work environment, and the environment is society in our cities, towns. And I'm just here to respond to you. You asked the question, as when you look at these things in declines, especially in police reform and the decline of it, that is one of the reasons you had to push back on policing. That's why in some communities the turnover rate is so high for it, because those communities have pushed it so hard. Good people who want to do policing don't want to police in that area because what that area says for it wants. And unfortunately, when you look at things for declines and ups and downs, they're not all so simple. Look what's going on in society and around, and the environment, and that they have some play in it as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time. All right. Okay, written communications, Vanessa, was there any written? No? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to special reports. First up, navigating the mobility landscape, EVPI Tucker.
Well, before you, in your view, is our newly procured Ford Mach-E. And the banner behind you, you'll see, was a display that was created for the auto show. Some of you, members of the board, might remember 2017, at the invitation of the state of Michigan, we had a booth that we were able to have at the auto show to showcase the great work we were doing in advanced transportation. And each year, with the exception of the COVID years, we've been invited to be a part of auto mobility, which is a section of the auto show for higher education. We have and continue to be the only community college that's represented there, which I think is a testament to the vision that we had in 2014 to launch the ATC, but then also the continued support both from the state of Michigan through grants as well as our federal grant that we received. There is a video that we would like to show you which kind of recaps what happened at the auto show, and of course we will answer any questions that you might have, unless President Malaka has anything before we roll the video.
Well, thank you. I would like to thank Trustee Milliken for spending a couple days with us at the auto show. Appreciate your time, and if you would like to share at the appropriate time anything you'd like about your experience and what happened there.
I was
And
impressed.
You were good. Thank you.
Our staff and our presentation were just superb. And Michigan State University had about 1/3 of the space, and Washtenaw Community College was well represented. Very impressive.
Thank you. And thank you. Also, I know we're going to roll it out now, but what makes this so successful is the faculty. And they, you know, this is where it's tough because you have to keep learning new skills, you know, constantly learning, staying abreast of what's happening, redoing all the curriculum. And so they're excited about it. They deserve to be excited about it because all the work they put into it. And it's great. And I thank them for that, as well as the leadership and the board for supporting it. And lastly, mobility is more than EV. It is one of the best occupations. It's communication, it's marketing, it's science, you know, the green technology. There are so many, cybersecurity, there are so many occupations that are tied with mobility. So I just would like you to expand your horizons with that. And I guess we could roll them.
Good morning, April.
Hey, good morning, Tati. So Washtenaw Community College is based in Ann Arbor, and they have been a leader in educating and training workers for transportation and mobility jobs for a decade. And with this is with online classes as well as on-campus classes. In addition to their booth here at the auto show, they're also hosting a panel discussion later on this afternoon in the main atrium stage. And joining me to talk about this are the college. This is the college president, Dr. Rose Belanca, and Al Lees. He is the director of WCC's Advanced Transportation Center. Good morning.
Good morning, April.
Good morning, Al.
Good morning. Good morning.
This is a nice setup that you all have here. So, President Belanca, share a little bit about why you're at the auto show.
Well, we're at the auto show, well, first of all, because this is Detroit, this is Motor City, right? But we are at the auto show because in 2014, we started this journey, and we made a commitment at that time to the governor, as well as to our community, that we were going to be the leaders in advanced transportation. And our first auto show was in 2017. So in order to maintain that, we know that commitment that we have to continue to grow and continue to learn and development, and we have to share what we know with students, with employers, and other colleges, and learn also from them. So we're here to share the curriculum, all the work that we've done over the years, and to encourage students that might be interested in applying.
That's amazing. So also talk to us about WCC's leadership in education and training the transportation workforce, because this has been growing, like you said, for a decade now, and you guys actually use these cars, which are beautiful.
Yes, and Al will tell you more about the many automobiles that we already have on campus. But, you know, when we talk about mobility, it's the mobility ecosystem. It's not just about cars. It's about, well, right now we're talking about EV and we're talking about batteries and all that, but it's also cybersecurity. It's also communication. It's safety. It's green. It's green economy. Everything. Sustainability. So mobility is a huge area for economy, also for employers and for students. And as the governor said, 1 out of 5 jobs in the state of Michigan are in auto.
Well, it sounds like you all are heading in the right direction.
So thank you.
Yes.
Great faculty, too.
I'm sure. So, Al, let's talk about what students are learning in the classroom with all of these new EV vehicles. I understand that these 2 Ford vehicles here that we're showing off today, they are actually used to train the students at WCC.
Yes, they are. It's 2 of 11 EVs, and we have Ford Mustang Mach-E's, 4 of them, and Ford F-150 Lightning. We have 2 Tesla Model 3s, 2 Chevy Bolts from General Motors, and we even have a Harley-Davidson Livewire, which is an electric motorcycle. And we have hybrid vehicles, and many consumers are concerned about starting with an EV. They'd like to start with a hybrid vehicle. We have a Ford Escape hybrid and a Toyota Camry hybrid. So we have many. And our whole purpose for having all of these vehicles is to give the student the ability to develop competencies in the real products, not just the theory.
Well, let's talk really quickly, because we're wrapping up, about the jobs that students can learn, the type of jobs that they will get once they're finished with the program.
Yes. Well, the first priority is vehicle service and repair. That's our first priority vehicle program. And obviously the dealerships need, all these vehicles are now on the streets and in consumers' hands. So our technicians need to go in a dealership and either repair an EV or a hybrid or a gas engine conventional vehicle. All 3 are showing up to the dealerships.
I love that. So they can go right from WCC and then get right into the job pipeline. I love that. Thank you all so much for being with us this morning. Back to you guys.
Our next
Thank you.
That was great.
And if we can, I don't know, I think Al might have had to leave, but as President Malaka said, it is really the faculty and the team that has made this happen and continue to evolve. So I'm definitely excited for where we're going.
Go ahead, Ruth. You sure? Well, I wanted to thank the panelists that were part of the panel. I'm sorry, I thought we were going to show that piece, but Tom Buttman, I mean, he was just amazing. He from Buttman Ford, really appreciate him and what he talked about, and the salary and the encouragement for our students. Also from DT Energy, I'm sorry, I don't remember that gentleman's name. Do you? John? Just John?
John.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank John from DT Energy, because he was really great. And then telling us about DTE and how they worked with mobility and electricity and all the things that they were doing. And then Glenn Stevens from Mish Auto, which, you know, we're part of that organization as well. And the woman who, I thought there was going to be another portion here, so I apologize.
Moderator?
The moderator. Do you remember her name?
The rest of it is available. It just didn't play. I'm not sure why.
There's a whole part B to this that we can attempt to play.
To maintain that is
There we go.
being
being with us this morning. Back to you guys.
Our next session, Electrifying Michigan, Navigating the EV Journey for Educators, Industry, and Consumers, presented by Washtenaw Community College.
All right. Thank you to our panelists for joining today. And thank you to our audience. I'm Allison Malik. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Middle Third. And today with me on the panel, we have Dr. Rose Belanca, president and chief executive officer of Washtenaw Community College, Tom Buttman, vice president of Buttman Ford Dealerships, Neil Foley, director of marketing and electrification at DTE Energy, and Glenn Stevens, executive director of Mishata.
I know, we have to keep moving forward and pressing forward. So, which means that we have to be the most prepared. And to do that, I believe the catalyst in maintaining that is talent in education.
Now, just to say how WCC helps us is that we have people coming out of WCC that are well trained in computer systems and how they interact with traditional automotive powertrains right now. The next generation of what's just starting within the curriculum, obviously we talk about the EV curriculum, is now they're going to have that transitional knowledge, because at WCC they're not only going to go for that EV certificate, they're also going to be going for more traditional. And so that's one of the biggest challenges right now, is having technicians that are able to adapt to any situation. So I keep going back to them. Obviously salespeople, advisors are very important, but technicians have always been something that have had to be advanced, have had to be students of the industry, because they not only have to work on mechanical issues, they also have to work on HVAC issues.
Yes,
they also have to work on electrical issues.
Right.
And now they're turning into electricians.
How much would it cost for me to obtain one of the EV certificates, and what can if I were to take that and get a job with it, what can I expect to be getting paid?
Yes, coming out of WCC, being somebody that comes out with your ASC's your ASC technician accreditation, it's something that you should see somewhere around the $60,000 point is really good. But I'll tell you that some of our more senior level EV technicians are making upwards of $160,000 a year. These are not people that have just started, but you're talking about 10, 15 years down the line. And again, these are people that are dedicated and are students of the industry. So I want to make sure that people understand that it takes time to get to that level, and you have to continue your education, and that's through the manufacturer.
Thank you. That's a really good distinction. As we think about these careers, there's a place to start, but what's really exciting to see is there's a lot of opportunity to grow as the industry evolves.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ruth.
I just have one little question. How many students do we have in advanced manufacturing courses and programs?
So our Advanced Transportation Center programming crosses across 3 quadrants. One is IT, one is manufacturing, one is automotive services. Students that are taking one of those subset of courses is upwards of 1,000 per semester at any given time. And many of those are interdisciplinary. So you've got an auto person that's also taking an automotive cybersecurity course or a programming course, or vice versa.
Great. Thank you.
I wanted to also share that 2 weeks ago, the Michigan State Police announced that they have just put a Mach-E into service in Lansing. So you might be chased by a Mach-E if you go over there.
Wow. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great report.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to tab G, monthly reports. First, the personnel. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the personnel recommendations as submitted. Do I hear a motion? Second? Support. Thank you. All right, any discussion on this? Any comments, questions? Go ahead, Ruth, and then Diana.
I would just like to note that there are a few people who've been here for a while who are leaving. Robert Curie, I hope our mechanical systems are okay with him leaving, and we know how, okay, good. And also, I notice every month how many people are replaced or added and how many are leaving. And there are always more people leaving than are added. So this month, there were 4 new positions and there were 6 people leaving. So I hope we can balance that out at some point. It must be crazy over in HR.
Go ahead, Diana.
Well, Ruth stole my thunder there. I was just like her. I was looking at the years of service, the long-term people, and that was Robert Curry. And I appreciate him, first of all, being here and what he has done for this school in the mechanical systems. I appreciate that. We've been lucky. We have been very lucky with our people who have been here for a length of time because they're part of our history. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Ed, Angela?
I want to say Eric Reed. He was real instrumental in getting the HBCU credit matriculations agreements together, and I'm sorry to see him go. I pray that he has found new success wherever he lands. And I also like to say congratulations to all of our new part-time hires in various departments of the college. I pray that their stay here is impressionable, and they will be here forever.
Any other questions or comments? All right.
I'm just sorry to see Eric leave. I really But the reason I say that because he was very instrumental out in the community and with his staff during the summertime at a African American festival, and he had a tent there and was really promoting the school to everyone that was there. And I think this is really important, that we need to continue to do something in the community, out in the community, to let people know that we're here and what types of programs that we offer.
Fortunately, he is into another job that he loves, and all of his hard work helped him in his career.
Wonderful.
So that's great.
So is the Dean of Student Access and so on, that's going to be covered by someone else?
Well, what we're going to do is, as we always do, whenever there is a job that is, someone leaves a job or whatever, we always take a look at that position. We reevaluate it. We look at what we have to accomplish, where the direction is going, and then we repost the position. So there will be something similar, may not be exactly like that, but yes.
It was just more,
Thank you.
more in line of just making sure that our connections with the HBCU colleges and universities are still intact.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving on to tab H, the financial reports. Before we vote, VP Barnes, anything you'd like to highlight for us?
Sure. So I'll start by talking about the winter semester, since we're well into the winter semester now. You'll see there that it's proceeding very favorably. This is actually, as of the end of December, it was already proceeding favorably. We were up 3.7% in head count and 5% in credit hours. And I would say, even as we sit here today, that favorable variance is roughly the same. It's not quite exactly the same, but it's roughly the same. So still very good results showing up for the winter semester. We'll have more to show in next month's board meeting. That favorability is also reflected in the student fees. So total tuition and fees, about 1.4 million favorable, which I would see sticking through the end of the year. For local property taxes, again, we're 6 months through the year. Things are proceeding pretty much on pace as we expected. You can see there that we're very much in line with our projections for property taxes. For state appropriations, 400,000 favorable variance. I would say we'll stay around there. I don't expect that to go down. We had budgeted for a 2% increase from the state, and we actually got the 3.5%, as you know, increase from the state. And also personal property taxes, we get 2 payments related to that per year. And the first payment was higher than expected, which usually suggests that the second payment will be higher than expected. So that is doing well. Trade partnerships, very similar to last month, doing well with the trades. Investment income, interest rates have, even though they have come down a bit, they still remain historically high, well above 4%. Versus the 3% that we had in the budget. So again, favorability there for interest income. For other, you'll see a slightly negative variance there. I am a little concerned that that could remain throughout the year. There's some of it is timing, so some of the timing stuff should recover. We did budget for, mistakenly budgeted for 3 police academies. We thought last year we did 3 police academies, we budgeted for 3. We're only gonna do 2. So that was something that we didn't count on. And also the contract training is probably not going to turn out to be as much as we thought. But it's not something I'm overly concerned with. You know, 80,000 isn't that much off to be in the budget, but it's a slight negative variance there. Auxiliary activities, largely 2 things. The vast majority of that is related to conference services or for example, the rental of this building, catering, et cetera. So as you can see, doing very, very well. A piece of that too is also equipment that we sell that's reached the end of its useful life. We sell it on publicsurplus.com. So that's turned out to be somewhat favorable as well. So in total, revenues doing quite well versus what was budgeted, but still 6 months to go. In terms of expenditures, 3.6 million favorable. I'll highlight a couple of things. First, you see in the community services line, there's a negative 248. So that is related to the auxiliary activity revenue above. So when that revenue goes up, the cost also goes up, in particular with respect to catering, right? We sell more food, we have to buy more food. So there is a relationship there. I don't consider that a bad unfavorable variance. That's actually a good unfavorable variance. The other thing, utilities, the usage early in the year was up about 9% in electricity versus what we had thought in the budget. However, I would say the facilities team has done an excellent job of trying to make sure that areas are cut off when they're not being used. So that variance, even though it has been negative for the last several months that you guys have seen it, it's kind of been arrested right around that level. So we're hoping we can kind of keep it there for the rest of the year. The rest of this is some of timing, some vacancy savings, although I would say that we have netted, even though there are comings and goings, so people coming and leaving, we have netted it about 9 new positions filled net. Versus the peak early in the fiscal year, so doing quite well. So budget's turning out to, we're doing quite well versus the budget right now, but still again 6 months to go, and some spending timed for the second half of the year. I'll briefly comment here on the capital fund as well. The camera project well underway. I think that should be concluded this spring. As I understand it. And also you can see there in the commitment column, the SRB renovations, maintenance garage, That's also well underway. You can see the commitments there, very high. That should be complete no later than the fall. Again, those projects proceeding pretty much on schedule.
Any questions? Go ahead, Bill.
What's the enrollment of the police academy?
So any given police academy class, it varies between 30 and 45. We suspect we have a wait list presently for our upcoming academy. We suspect that's probably going to be around that 35 to 40 number.
Thank you.
All right.
I'd like to move that the Board of Trustees receive the financial reports for December 2024 for general fund, capital fund, and combined schedule of investments, all funds as submitted.
Support.
Yep. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
May I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Treasurer DeVarty for spending time meeting with us and with Vice President Barnes and myself to review the budget thoroughly. So we spent about an hour, hour and a half maybe reviewing it. So thank you.
Moving forward to tab I, the Facilities Development Report. AVP Whipstock. Anything you'd like to highlight here?
Yeah, we'll start out with the capital projects. The shipping and receiving building just started this month in January. Most demo has been completed. Rough electrical has started. Rough plumbing has started in that building. Also, the camera project is well underway. As you may see out in the parking lots that the towers are starting to go up. The phone towers, those are kind of at a stall right now till the weather lightens up so we can get back pouring cement and running wires. Underground boring for all of them, those are all complete. We're done at that point. Moving on, some of the deferred maintenance projects. I have a PowerPoint that I was going to highlight the projects that we focused on during the shutdown, which is on this. Go over to the PowerPoint. Perfect. So there were several projects that we worked on during the winter break. The winter break is about the only time on this campus. This campus is a very busy campus, and trying to find time to do major work like this within the buildings, this is about the only time period that we would have. So part of the project was the LED lighting upgrade. This project, as you're aware, has been on the deferred maintenance list for a couple of years now, and that's because we've done most of the low-hanging fruit, the areas that we can get in. Now we got to start getting into the areas that aren't easily accessible. One is the Student Center building, and as you can see over the stairwells, in order to get to it, we had to construct scaffolding to get to that. So we actually had to shut down the stairwells. Well, we can't do that during normal business hours, so we had to wait to a major shutdown or closure. As you can see, the stairwell is well lit now. We got those changed out to LED lighting. The other stairwells were all the fire exit stairwells. And as you can imagine, we had to put scaffolding up here, and you can't shut those down during normal business hours because they're a fire escape and they have to remain open. So we were able to get all the fire exit stairwells complete in the Student Center building as well. The other one was the SC walkway. If you can remember, most of those lights were looked like egg crates, and it was very dimly lit. So we changed all that out, and we put different types of lens to illuminate that area better, and it's LED. The other areas that are very hard to get into are areas like the cashier's office. That area is only closed down during that winter break. these areas, we had to go in and you literally have to rewire all the lighting, because we had to put dimmable lighting in because of the computers. So generally, when you get into an area like that, we would need at least 3 days. So normally, the cashier's office is never shut down 3 days in a row. So we had to do it during the winter break. Lab floors in the LA, or lab classrooms, another area that we had to wait to a break to get in to do the lighting. Where are we? About 185 LED fixtures were installed during the winter break. All stairwells have been completed in the SC. Student services areas have all been completed in the SC building. Office areas on the 3rd floor are yet to be completed, and what we'll be doing over the next several months is on Fridays when there's low usage in that building, we go in those areas from 6 to 10, do lighting, and then get back out. So we do it little by little over the next several months to try to get it complete. Currently, the student center is about 80% upgraded. What are the benefits? We're seeing on an average about 60% energy reduction over fluorescent lighting. Definitely longer lifespan with LEDs compared to fluorescents. Lower maintenance costs. Now we don't have tubes to replace or ballast to replace. The lighting quality has been greatly improved. It's more economically friendly. No mercury in the LEDs compared to fluorescents. And the big thing for us is once we get this completed, we'll have eliminated 2 waste streams, which have been the fluorescent lights and the ballasts, which are electronic and magnetic. So we won't have those waste streams at all. We are on track to meet or beat the EPA phase out of compact fluorescents, which is at the end of 2026. The other project that we completed during the winter shutdown, we upgraded all the drinking fountains to filtered water bottle filling stations. This has been an initiative of ours for over a year now to try to get all the campuses or all the buildings converted to filtered water bottle filling stations. Student Center had 12 stations that were installed. All stations, like I said, provide filtered water. All stations have bottle fillers. The goal is to provide filtered water, like I said, throughout each building. Student Center, Business Ed, the Technical Building, Liberal Arts Building, Gunner Minor, all have the bottle filling stations at this time. The other area that we did was the financial area. We painted, put new carpeting in throughout that area during the winter break. We resealed and painted the floor in the battery lab during the winter break. And periodical table was installed in the LA building, this new display. Other maintenance work that was done was we did carpet cleaning, floor cleaning, scrubbing and waxing. In this building, in the main lobby, all the air filters are, believe it or not, are above the ceiling. So we have to wait for a break, pull the ceiling down, change the filters, and we do that every winter break because that's the only time that we can get into this building without people being here. Backflow testing was completed. We have to do that during a break because a lot of times we have to shut down the water of the buildings in order to do the backflow testing and or repair. And one of the, I don't want to say it's a benefit doing the LED lighting, but once we pull the lights out, we actually get up in the ceiling and start looking at the piping and stuff. And we found a sanitary line that had a crack on it, so we proactively replaced that line once we saw it. Questions?
Did a lot.
You did a lot.
I'm sorry, first Ruth, then Eileen.
Oh, I just wanted to say, first of all, we still have fire drills?
Do we have fire drills? Yeah. It's been a while since we've had one.
Oh, I just was curious.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a fire drill. And when you are doing the benefits of your lighting and the water, another benefit is the health of the employees. I mean, those lights are much better for people and headaches, and I mean, I taught with sunglasses on for years because of the fluorescent lighting and migraine headaches. And the water that's purified and available in bottles saves the planet, saves the people. So there's some environmental and health benefits to the employees as well as what you've been stating, and I just didn't want to forget that. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
With regard to the bottle filling stations, do you do any regular water quality testing in the buildings?
We do. HOH, water technology, we have, they come in and do chlorine residual testing monthly. We do 50 random samples, so we do chlorine residual testing, yes.
And that's in all the buildings?
All the buildings. Like I said, they do 50 random samples, so it might be 3 in this building, 2 in that building. So it's all random.
Thank you.
Angela, was your hand up too?
Yeah, but I think it was already taken care of, so
Okay.
I'm going to bring it up.
Go ahead, Diana.
Just a quick thing on number 10 of the deferred maintenance, campus-wide substation upgrade repair, 40,000. What does it mean, repairs identified by 7E testing?
So we're doing, 70E is a arc flash study. So we've been doing with UIS, coming in and doing a coordination study and doing testing of our substations. So one of the last ones we did was the student center. And when they come in and do the testing of the substations, any things that they find, like we had fans that weren't working, we had monitors that weren't working properly. Once we identify them, then we repair them under this project. So we identify the repairs and then we get them repaired.
Are there many?
There are, I'll say it, there are less than I thought there would be. So I thought we would have a lot more repairs to do in the student center, but it's old, but it's in really good shape.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Ruth.
Number 12, is that the total cost of the backstop, $100,000?
Yeah, just a little bit under it, if I remember right. Yeah. So this is, they're adding higher on the foul line, so, yes.
Right. It was gonna be even more money, so I guess it's all right. What is the external sign on the SC building?
That's the new Washtenaw. We're getting rid of the student center logo and putting up the Washtenaw Community College logo sign.
Will people know it's the student center building? Never mind.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to remarks. Any members of the board have remarks? So I have a hand up from Bill. Go ahead.
Thank you. Last week, Detroit Regional Chamber Policy Conference was held, and we were part of it. The mantra throughout the course of the day, and this was a day-long series of speakers on stage, was Detroit Ann Arbor Innovation Corridor. And so they're looking at that 50-mile stretch of I-94 and as an economy that is all tied together. And I'll just give you a few highlights of some of the things that were shared during the day. Richard Florida, the author, was on stage and had the presidents of the University of Michigan, Wayne State, and Michigan State University with him. And they talked about the University Research Corridor. And the University Research Corridor collectively, about $3 billion a year in research that they handle. And so, of course, we're the beneficiary of it here. And we got Wayne State on the other end over there. Collectively, you're talking about 100,000 graduate students, undergraduate students, and 50,000 graduate students. And Richard Florida says, and they agree, that 75 to 80% of those stay in Michigan. There's 20% leakage, but a lot of those people that we train and put through our institutions stay with us, and they're here helping to create the jobs. And last fall, the University of Michigan confirmed a $1.2 billion plan with Los Alamos National Laboratory to establish a high-performance computing research lab in Ypsilanti Township. So right here in our backyard, we're going to see the benefit of that financial horsepower. U of M is also building a $250 million U of M Center for Innovation, a graduate and research campus in Detroit. It's a satellite campus for entrepreneurs, scheduled for completion in 2027. That's $250 million that the Regents appropriated. Renaissance Center has been in the lights a bit lately, with General Motors announcing that they're going to move to the Detroit Hudson Tower next year. And Dan Gilbert and General Motors, Mary Barra, have been trying to sort out what they're going to do with that piece of real estate that GM owns, which has a lot of functional obsolescence. And the plan is that they will demolish the 100 and 200 towers that are closest to the river, that they will create a kind of the Millennial Park in Chicago, or Navy Pier. There'll be a public access to the waterway, and there'll be activities that the public can enjoy. And then they'll raise the two towers on the water, and then the other two towers back along Jefferson will be repurposed, and they'll be putting up a high-quality penthouses in the top of the Marriott Renaissance Tower in the center of all of that. Funding has got to come together. There'll be some brownfield funding. The Michigan legislature is going to be involved in it, so it's not a done deal yet, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that was exciting to hear that Renaissance Center will continue to be a vital part of downtown Detroit. I think the real jewel in the crown is Michigan Central Terminal. Anybody toured Michigan Central Terminal yet? About 200,000 visitors have gone through it, and it's just a remarkable success story. It's a 112-year-old train terminal that sat vacant for 40 years until 5 or 6 years ago. The Ford family, Bill Ford, engineered acquiring it, remodeling it. They spent $1 billion redoing that structure. And there'd been talk of demolishing it, as you may know, which would have been tragic. But it's just a remarkable piece of architecture today. 14 stories, 600,000 square feet of space. The board chair of Michigan Central Terminal and the CEO were on stage talking about it. And there was, as you can imagine, a lot of enthusiasm. New Lab is a part of the complex, and New Lab has 135 startup companies that are incubating in the building. And they came on stage saying there were 133, and then the CEO said, no, it's 135. We just got 2 more. So there's a lot of momentum there. It's fun to see that happen. They're working in New Lab to commercialize AI, drones, technology, next generation mobility. And so there's room for people like us with small companies that will be spun off like that. Mayor Duggan says that Detroit is down to 2 or 3 large sites that he can try and interest manufacturers in, but Detroit's almost full. Detroit used to have hundreds of acres of vacant land, as we know, but Detroit is healthy and filling fast, and this Detroit-Ann Arbor Innovation Corridor is a real thing. We're going to see it here. Students that we're training here are going to have job opportunities with various aspects of this. So it was a report, a day full of good reports. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, that was fascinating.
I just want to say, the corridor has been talked about for years. So finally, it sounds like this has become...
It was on stage all day long. Everybody kept reiterating the corridor.
Oh, this is great to hear.
Yep.
Really. Thank you.
Board comments? Go ahead, Ruth.
I attended the MLK performance, or celebration, and it was very nicely done. There was good food, there were good people, there was good music, there were 3 awards given. And I was particularly proud that the English department's Writing Center got an award. So it was a good time, and the fellow who's leaving managed it, and it was really well done. The other thing I'd like to bring up is at the luncheon, the last luncheon I was at, students and faculty came up to me talking about the black plastic plates we were using. And apparently black plastic is the hardest plastic to recycle. And I would just like to suggest that we stop using, it's not a big deal, and we probably have years' worth of black plastic for service, but we should probably stop using black plastic plates and so forth, because it is the worst for recycling. So it's just
But I
an
never thought that.
environmental concern.
Oh, go ahead, Diana.
Yes, this past Saturday, I went to the African American Women's Association, I can't remember the whole title, celebration for MLK at the Marriott on Plymouth Road, and it was very, very nice. It was put on well, and I was hoping that more people from the school would be able to, because we had some tickets available, but I was there, and I just really enjoyed it, and we were represented very well. Our name was in their program, loud and clear, and I was there and I was recognized. So I just appreciate you having some involvement in supporting this venture. Thank you.
Eileen?
Thank you. I have spent recent time quietly attending local township and city council meetings just to hear what people are talking about and what they're concerned about. And there's a lot of concern in the community regarding housing, the availability of housing, the price of housing, the availability of rental rental housing. Communities are worried about the inability of people to move in and out of the community. They're worried about their school districts. And there's a lot of interest in land preservation, which is something that I think I have heard at every single municipality with the possible exception of the city of Ypsilanti. But there's a lot of interest and a lot of momentum regarding the preservation of land in our rural townships. So I just wanted to pass that along.
Ruth?
Could you put your microphone down, please? Thank you.
The new housing that's going up, I don't know the name of the street, that's behind the where the county farm used to be?
That's on Platt.
On Platt? Okay. The regular cost housing, market priced housing is there, but there's also a number of facilities available for a low income. And the latest report was that there are 20 units now available for rental, and they had 7,000 applicants for those 20 units. So that speaks to the need for the housing in Washtenaw County.
I just read a few days ago that there's going to be an annexation between the city, Ann Arbor, and Pittsfield Township of land. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if it's completed yet or not, but Pittsfield Township found themselves that, just like Ann Arbor, landlocked, and so they want to converge with each other, which would mean more housing.
Any other comments?
Let me just finish this up too. There is going to be more available housing in the city of Ann Arbor for low income, because I'm on the community leadership committee that right now, Angela Davison and myself are both on this committee, that at this point I know there's either 2 or 3 more housing developments will be coming in the next 2 to 3 years. I know the next year, and then after that, maybe 2 more. So it's going to be low housing. I don't know what the total details are yet. So we're just trying to get through this one housing development right now, but it's coming down the pike. So there will be more available low-income housing.
Any other comments from the board? Thank you, everyone. Go ahead, President Blanca.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to welcome the trustees to a new calendar year. I'd like to also welcome Trustee Pack for joining us, and welcome to the board. And congratulations, Trustee McKnight Morton, for your re-election to the board. So good to have you as well. I'd also like to thank the officers from the last 2 years. So great job, Angela. Thank you so much. Thank you, Trustee Milliken, as vice chair. Appreciate it. And our treasurer, Dave DeVarty, thank you for the time that you spent as well. Appreciate that. And I'd also like to, pardon me? Oh, and oh my gosh, yes, of course. And Trustee Hatcher for your work as a secretary.
My name 3 or 4 times.
That's very important to us. Thank you. Thank you so much. And congratulations to the new officers. Other than that, you know, I just want to thank the marketing department, because the marketing department is really responsible for all the work that went behind this work that we did at the auto show. So thank you so much, Lori, for all of that, and all the public relations that we got from the event, all the placement. That was a lot of work, and I appreciate that. And I want to thank Eva Samolsky, who's the dean of the area, and Brandon Tucker. So thank you.
Could we also single out Al Lex and the planning, the advanced planning that he did to give us the position that we did in the Riverfront Ballroom?
Yeah, Al
Remarkably
leads.
well done.
Yeah, he was great. He really was. Thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you. Okay, everyone, we're moving to tab J. New business. First up, the UA Boiler Lab, AVP Whipstock. What would you like to tell us?
All right. This request seeks upfront capital funding of $1,025,000 to install a UA boiler lab in the Great Lakes building. This funding was approved in December 24 by the UA International Training Fund and the Board of Trustees, and will be reimbursed to WCC. Let's see here. UA International, located in the Great Lakes Regional Training Center, is requesting the installation of a modernized boiler lab for instructional purposes. This training lab will offer approximately 21-week courses each year and is expected to train 400 UA instructors from across the United States and Canada. With regulatory changes having significant impact on the boiler industry, influencing design, efficiency standards, safety requirements, and emission controls, once complete, the WCC UA Boiler Lab will be one of the most advanced boiler training labs in the United States. The UA plans to showcase this lab in August of 2025 during their training program. The project was designed and engineered, and an RFP was issued to Monroe Plumbing. It was the lowest responsible bidder at $611,600. The remaining costs are related to building control systems, infrastructure, site work, engineering, and contingencies in case of change orders. We're recommending that the Board of Trustees establish this capital project or upfront capital funding not to exceed $1,025,687 and award a contract to Monroe Plumbing not to exceed $611,600. Any questions?
All right, Bill first.
Does an instructional or training boiler throw off any good byproduct like hot water or electricity or?
Well, a boiler produces steam or hot water. We'll be installing a cooler on the outside of the building. So in order for them to properly train the people, it has to be under load conditions. So once they put in these are, well, let me back up. So these are going to be portable boilers. So what we're building are kind of like cells or stations to where they could bring in a portable boiler, different manufacturers of boiler, plug into these stations, start them up, and put them under real low conditions so they could, train them on how to operate the boiler, how to do CSD testings and all that. So we're not really installing the boilers per se, but we're installing the infrastructure to bring in portable boilers that manufacturers and or the UA have on site in order to train. So we'll be installing the infrastructure for them to use those portable boilers.
So it sounds like the energy is lost, but the training is good.
Yeah, the
Okay.
energy, we're not going to heat a building with it. It's just for training purposes.
Thank you.
Eileen, then Dave, then Angela.
Thank you. So does this require a licensed boiler operator or operators?
Well, these are training boilers, so they're
Right.
not under working conditions. We're not building heat, but the UA would have their trainers would be, I would imagine, I would have to refer to Marilyn Dunham on it, but I would think that they are licensed boiler operators. Generally, when you go, I'm a licensed boiler operator. I went through an apprenticeship program. I'm licensed, so I would imagine the UA's trainers are the same way. I'd have to refer to Marilyn on that one.
Okay, so does this require any additional or specialized insurance for the college?
That I couldn't tell you, I'll be
Okay.
honest with you. We could find out.
I'll double check, but the insurance that we have is very comprehensive. It basically covers anything that's not explicitly excluded from the contract, but we can double check that.
Okay, and do you know whether the boilers that the UA will be using are like high-pressure boilers, low-pressure boilers?
Could be
No
all.
idea.
So, yeah, it could be hot water, could be steam. When I talked to Tony, the 4 boilers that they have on site range from 250,000 BTUs to 2 million BTUs.
Okay.
And manufacturers could bring in any range of different boilers to demonstrate their boilers and or train people on them.
Okay, and so the boilers are not going to be permanently
Oh, no.
connected in
Nope,
any
these
way?
are, yep.
Do they require any type of inspection, any safety?
Well, that's what, yeah, part of it is that they would do the CSD1 tests on it. So they're training people how to actually test the safety devices and all that on the boiler. So each training time that they would be testing the safety devices.
Mm-hmm.
So they're training people how to test the boilers.
Okay, thank you.
So, we're repurposing space that's in this building for this advanced or this high boiler space? Is that, what's that space used for now?
Well, that's what it was, the expansion of the Great Lakes building.
Right.
This is what was part of the original thought, was putting into this boiler lab.
Okay.
So that space already exists there.
Okay.
For this purpose.
And then the RFP, was that issued under the auspices of the UA or under our auspices?
Us. We reviewed it with the UA, put the RFP together, got with them to help develop the specs of what they needed, and yes, we put out the RFP.
The low bidder, Monroe Plumbing, I don't see any other bids here. How many people responded with responsible bids?
how many people
How
responded?
many, there's.
Four.
It
There was
doesn't say.
four, but 8 were asked to bid, but only 4 bid.
Would it be possible when we see these, if we could see the table with those bids and what they cover? I just,
Sure.
you know, I believe you when I see the lowest responsible bidder was Monroe Plumbing, but it's nice to know who bid.
Sure.
How many bids were, how many RFPs went out, how many responded. And that kind of gives us a sense of when we say the lowest bidder, the competitive nature, and that we are indeed taking a responsible bidder at the lowest cost.
Yep, sure.
And if that could, before we vote on this, if we could get that for the next meeting.
Yes, I will make sure you have that.
Okay.
It's just a discussion right now, anyway.
Yeah, I know. But it's, you know, I hope to see that in the next.
Sure.
I wanted to just.
Angie?
Oh, my apology. Fully reimbursed to WCC, if you could help me understand the terminology in that. Are we getting back the $1,025,000?
Yes.
Or is this as installments? How is that actually going to work?
So I'll let Terry answer this one. So we're working through the contract language right now, but the idea is that they give us progress payments throughout so that GM is, or so that the college is not putting the money up front. So we're asking for progress payments along the way. They give us the money, we turn around, we pay the vendor.
Progress money?
Correct. So basically, along the project, there are milestones. So each time we hit a milestone, so like March 1st, April 1st, the vendor's going to expect payment from us, and therefore we want the payment from the UA so that we can get the money from the UA to pay the vendor.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Go ahead, Eileen.
Another question, sorry. How many boilers are going to be in play at any sort of given time?
Between 4 and 6. So there's going to be actually 6 stations. But talking with Tony, they got 4 boilers now, and it's going to be usually between 4 and 6 boilers.
Okay. And a last question, which actually might be for Larry, regarding liability. If one of these boilers were to accidentally do something unexpected, what would be the college's liability there?
It would depend on the circumstances, obviously, what happened. We've got insurance, as Terry said, to cover that.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I'm really enthused by this opportunity to be one of the top boiler facilities in the country for training boiler technicians, and I think it's really is something wonderful. I'm just happy that we're partnering with the UA, and I think their investment in doing this is incentive to maintain an ongoing relationship in the future that brings so many UA people here for training, mostly in August, but throughout the year as well.
All right, thank you so much. We're moving on to tab K, the plastinated specimen purchase. EVPI Tucker, you want to tell us about this?
As you might remember, we've come to the board and talked about the cadaver shortage that we have currently in our country. You might remember that we purchased a Hermitage table thanks to the foundation, but this is part of kind of a multi-phase plan to address what we know to be a cadaver shortage. There's one person on this campus who is extremely passionate about bodies, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Tracy Schwab, our Dean of MSc, who can speak to the plastinated body.
Thank you, Dr. Tucker. Good evening, everybody. So as Dr. Tucker stated, I came before you in December to talk to you about the anatomical education plan due to the national cadaver shortage. The biologies department came up with a twofold request, one which was the Hermitage table, and as Dr. Tucker stated, the foundation paid for that, and I'm happy to report that the table was delivered last week. Yay! And the faculty are currently getting trained on that, and we're working with marketing and the foundation for a lot of press releases regarding that. The second request was for a whole body plastinated specimen. And to help you with this, here's a picture of what it would look like. The request that we're putting in is for a female. This, as you'll see, is a male. This is just because they don't have a female on their website, but this will just give you an idea of what this looks like. So the plastinated specimen is actually from a human cadaver. These are done in Germany. They undergo a 5 to 6 stage plastination process where the fluids and adipose tissue are replaced with a polymer. It's like a silicone rubber polymer. It's dissected in accordance with what the biology department wants. Again, it takes about 19 months for this to happen. It's a long process. And what you'll see here is a life. This could be indefinite. Students can touch it. It's non-toxic. Prevents bacterial growth because there's no fluid in the body. So that, again, the whole stage would be is that they would have the best of both worlds. We really want a hybrid educational experience for students. As an educator, I can tell you that when you expose students to dual different types of information, so they can work on the digital table, all that interesting, cool stuff that I showed you guys in December, but then at the same time, look at a real body and see that. So remember, the animatage table is 2D, this is 3D. So again, this body can be transported in many different ways. There's no special conditions that this body has to be preserved in. They give us very special care processes. If damage does happen, it can be repaired, but its life is indefinite. So on behalf of the biology department, thank you for your consideration about having us also purchase a whole body female plastinated specimen. Thank you for your consideration. I'm happy to take any questions.
Bill, go ahead.
Wow.
Does the body have a skeleton, or is it also plasticized?
So it depends on what the biology department wants. So you can see in here, you can see some of the skeleton. Some of it you can't really see based on the muscle and the organs that are present. It depends on what the biology department wants. They're working really closely with the company to come up with what they want to get dissected. So yes, parts of it will be exposed based on what the department wants.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Dave.
So my recollection when you presented the table, that had programmed from actual body, actual cadavers, and there were several, right? Not
5.
just one, 5. And those were multiple genders, ages,
Yep.
et cetera. This is an actual, like a body.
Correct.
That, can it be used independent of that table, or does
Yes.
it? So
that is the
this
plan.
is separate and independent of that table.
Correct.
But supplemental in terms of the educational benefits.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
It sounds.
And it's very important, and I'll just give a little plug. So as a former chemistry educator, I will tell you that one of the biggest problems that our students had was looking at molecular geometry. So we would show animations and show it. But then when they got in the lab and actually got to build them and touch it and rotate it and see it, it really helps. So I can speak at the power of exposing students to multiple different types of content. This will certainly help our students understand this content, because anatomy and physiology is challenging for our nursing students, pre-med, so anything that we can do to reinforce those concepts, I think we should do.
So another follow-up question. So this will be used as an educational opportunity, not just in nursing, but in other science
Correct.
labs, et cetera. So it's
Yep.
really a multiple uses throughout our curriculum.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Oh, go ahead, Ruth.
So we're getting a lady, right?
Correct.
Are we ever going to get a gentleman too?
So they do offer male torsos, plastinated specimens, and that's something that that they may be we might be asking for future, depending on what the biology department wants. Yeah, they're trying to be very mindful on their requests to try to figure out what they're going to do with this technology and also the body as well. But that could be somewhere in the future.
And I think it's important to note that presently we have 3 cadavers. We're down to 1 that has to leave by May 1st. So this is, as we mentioned, getting us closer back to what we had, but at a whole nother level.
And we'll be able to hold on to this one?
Yes.
Yes,
Like
forever.
There's no borrow time?
Forever.
This
Okay.
is forever, yes.
And where would they be stored?
They don't have any special storage conditions. They're just stored, they hang, as you kind of see, and they're kind of rolled, but they just can hang just in a normal classroom or lab.
Oh, they hang.
No special conditions needed. Mm-hmm.
And we would welcome the board to come by at any time.
Of course.
To be able to see.
Who
these
doesn't want to see a
specimens.
plastinated whole body specimen? You
No,
certainly
that's
do.
all right.
I'm good.
I'm through, I'm good.
I've got one more follow-up question. As I've taken life drawing for both life drawing 1 and 2 here at the college, great programs, working with a skeleton. Could this be used for life drawing? Or is it just in mind to be used in the science and nursing arena?
I mean, we can certainly explore that, but I think there's going to be a large demand for our instructors once we get this.
Okay.
I have a feeling.
And my last question, what's the timeline for delivery after we order it? And given whatever that timeline is, when would we see this used as a teaching tool in our classes? Would it be by fall?
Once it's ordered, it could take up to 19 months
So
for
we're
delivery.
looking out more than a year.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick question, the cost of, so do we incur this cost to get the other one?
Yes, this is what we're
Multiples?
requesting. Yeah.
Okay, and the cost would be?
$142,000.
$142,000. And the foundation, would they be willing to? No? Not again? That's a dream?
This request is from our general fund, but
Okay.
we always will welcome extra support from the
I can
foundation.
believe that. Do a fundraiser.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the monthly meeting.
So moved.
Oh, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
I just wanted to thank Vanessa for all the calendars and arrangements and, well, it's very helpful, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, yep. All right, I heard, okay, I heard moved in second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Any opposed? No. All right, monthly meeting is now adjourned, thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
Good job.